Good afternoon. I'm just gonna wait for people to join if they are able to join. I know Sundays are usually like a tight scheduled day. Like time is really short on a Sunday. People are normally tired, so we'll see who can join. We'll see who we can push with. But if you are watching the replay, hi to you and thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for replaying my live stream. I truly appreciate it. If you don't know, I am trying to work on my watch hours for my channel. I'm trying to grow my watch hours. That's the reason why I've been like doing so many live streams, because I have a goal that I actually need to reach. So I'm gonna ask of you that if you have not watched like my old videos, if you can, please do make sure that you allow the videos or let my old videos play just to assist me with watch hours. If you have exhausted my videos, if you've exhausted my playlist, please do play the live streams, the other live streams that you might have missed. Please do play them on the background just so that you can assist me with. Can you see that line? Let me try wiping it. I haven't eaten today. Yeah, so please make sure that you play it in the background, just to help a sister out. And again, like I mentioned, if you can. And then again, my voice is normally husky. Sundays and Mondays are really like my voice. This is just basically it. Like my voice vele is husky and I've got a bassy voice. But on Sundays and Mondays, it just gets like a little worse or deeper than usual. And that's because like it's lit at church. Like it's that lit. It's that lit that when I get back, sometimes like my voice is even gone. So that's what you're hearing there. But I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and talk and people will find me on the way. People will find me on the way. But I was really hoping that some people will be able to join. I actually wanted to do something like get to know me tag, but I guess at that time maybe I should prepare people in a way for the get to know me tag. So last Sunday when I did a live, I spoke about that I actually wanted to try to go live for eight 8 hours straight, or alternatively 6 hours straight. I said that I actually wanted to test that out to see like how that was gonna work for me. And then the Thursday, I mentioned that the Thursday I was gonna go live, and when I was gonna go live on the Thursday, I was gonna I was gonna be doing like I was gonna pick like my top watched makeup tutorial and basically recreate a look from there. And so like my schedule was just like it was like really hectic and I was not able to come and do a live on the Thursday. I think what was I up to? But I remember like I was busy on the Thursday and then I was only able to go live on the Friday. And when I did go live, like on the Friday, I was at home, and you guys know, like, normally when I'm at home, my network is like normally like not good. So I was testing things out to see if it's actually even gonna work. And then it turned out that it actually did work out, but it worked out, but I had not like kind of scheduled and planned to kind of like do like a makeup type of video. So I think this coming Thursday or like whenever, but I think I'm gonna like have to kind of like do like some sort of like a poster and put it out just to prepare people. I want the vibes of where, if possible, but yeah, I want the type of vibes, if possible, people like while I'm doing my makeup, people should be doing their makeup on the other side, just so that we can, go through trial and error together. But I do kind of understand that during the week, some people are tired and I just don't know. I know like when I'm at home, my network towards the night is normally not good. So that would mean that I'd have to do the live like in the afternoon. And I'm just not so sure if the afternoon is gonna work for certain people because certain people are working. But that's really my heart around it. That's truly like the vibes I wanted to give. I wanted to give the vibes of like we are basically just having chilled vibes while doing our makeup, but still like being able to like learn a thing or two or a tip or two, like while we're doing our makeup. So I guess with that one, I'm just gonna have to like take out a poster. I'm gonna have to take out a poster and then yeah, I'll see. But I guess you guys will see like by the poster. Like the poster will be the confirmation of when exactly I'm gonna go live. But it should be somewhere in the week. It should be somewhere in the week. There's something else that I actually wanted to mention, but that something else is like kind of like slipping my mind. But yeah, that's the heart of like, oh, that's the reason why like I'm pushing with these lives. And I also wanted to know from you guys, like I am a I want to say multi-talented, but I like this, like I love conversations. I love conversations and I love talking. I love talking. So I actually wanted to know from, from people, from you guys of like if there's a specific topic that you guys like would like me to discuss and stuff like that. I do plan on going back to having guests. I think maybe next week or the other week where I'm just because I just think that bringing in a guest and going live with someone else just brings that diversity. It brings the diversity because obviously they share their own unique experiences. At times we are not of the same opinion. So I love the diversity that going live with another person like brings. So from next week, I think from next week, those will be back. I'll be, back in conversation with other people. But yeah, another thing like that I'm really passionate about speaking about is I'm really passionate about speaking about faith, you know. But I do get that at times like the topics around faith that I speak about, people are not really interested in, like people are normally interested, like people are not really interested in like Bible study as per se. People will be interested in stuff like interpretation of dreams, prophecy, like, those type of things, which it's okay. Like, I don't mind speaking about things like that, but I really want to start having conversations around topics that are going to equip people. I think that I don't want to I don't want to say that I'm necessarily speaking highly of myself, but I do believe that there's certain things that I understand well and I'm experienced in. And I'd like to assist people like in whatever way they really can, especially when it comes to spiritual matters. I do acknowledge that there's certain spiritual aspects that I really am equipped and knowledgeable about. And I don't want to really like just keep that all to myself because I know that when it comes to the spiritual aspect, there's so many questions that people have. And I really wanna, I know on long format, like I can't do that because I know on long format, people are not gonna watch those videos like that. But I wanna bring that element to my live streams, where I open up the space for people to ask for instance about dreams, dream interpretation, like different types of stuff. I really want to be able to, share my gifts with other people. God bless me. You look pretty today, by the way. Hi, how are you doing? Thank you so much for that compliment. Like, I truly appreciate it so much. Which part of the world are you tuning in from, and what are you actually up to this Sunday afternoon? I guess it's a Sunday afternoon on my end. So I was saying that I believe that God has gifted me with certain gifts. And I really want to be able to be authentic with people and for people to be able to benefit from the gifts that God has given me. I know I come on these lives and I laugh a lot and I really talk about like really anything and whatever might be on my mind, and it's all fun and games, and that's nice, really, like it's a vibe and it's nice. But like the essence of me, if you know me, the core of me is my faith. Yeah, that my faith. And anytime we have to speak about anything about God, like I'm your girl, like I'm your girl. So I really want to open up their platform for people to be vulnerable. I know it's not an easy thing, but I really want to be able to assist people where I can with my spiritual gifts and support people where I can with my spiritual gifts, and not just come here and like laugh about like literally everything. Though like that is like a big part of me. Like I laugh at almost about anything, but there's more to me than just laughing. And I believe the other side and the more to me that I'm referring to is something that our generation needs, and something that I believe like other people can really benefit from. But on that note, while no one is not sure, I'm gonna go ahead and share like the sermon of today, what uh what the sermon of today was actually about. And like it blessed me so much. So last night, right, I was telling my husband about like how I just feel so like overwhelmed about certain things. I was telling my husband that, like I feel so overwhelmed about life, about, because sometimes it's almost as if God like gives you like this vision. He gives you like these dreams about where he wants to take you. He shows you like the end goal, so you know that God wants you at a certain place. You know that, okay, this is in God's plan for my life. But sometimes like it can get so frustrating because you're like, I know God wants me at a certain point, but when you're actually looking at your actual life, you actually realize that it's just not matching. Like what you see and what you dream of in terms of like yourself, your personal life, and what God has shown you and promised you concerning your life, versus like the actual life that you are actually living, isn't matching. And I feel like sometimes like it can bring like so much frustration in just feeling like, but God, like, how is all of these things like gonna come together? Like, how is like all of these things going to come together, and how are like all these plans and visions that are in me, that I believe that God has placed in me, like how are they going to materialize? Because it just seems like such a far-fetched thing, and you're just thinking to yourself like, I don't even know, like from the point that I'm at, I don't even know like how I'm going to actually get there. And I think that's like the frustrating part about it, is that you at a point in life where you like, I know I shouldn't be here, or I know that this is not like the end for me, like there's a greater purpose that God has for me, but you just don't know like what you should do to go ahead and like materialize like that dream that like God has given you. So I was sharing this with my husband yesterday and just telling him about like how frustrated like I feel with how like I just feel like my dreams and where I see myself and what I believe like where God like has called me for, versus like my actual life, like what I'm actually living. It's just not balancing. It's just not balancing. So I was telling him that I was so frustrated at that. And he was like, you know what? Wait till you listen to tomorrow's sermon. So my husband is a pastor, if you didn't know that. So today, the sermon was something about, you don't, how do I phrase this? You don't get to the top. You don't get, you don't get to the top, you grow to the top. That statement on its own is like power packed and powerful. He was saying you don't get to the top, but you grow to the top. So he was basically saying that at times when God shows his children like these visions of like God will show you the end result, right? He'll show you that this is where you're gonna be, but he's not gonna really show you like the actual steps and the actual process of what's really going to go through, or what really is going to go on in your life in order for you to find yourself at that end goal. So he was basically saying that at times we think that when God gives us all these visions and these dreams, we think that we're just going to find ourselves there one day. We just think that one day, if God like showed you that, one day like you're gonna own your own house, and all of these things, and in your mind you're just thinking that, okay, one day I'm gonna have my own house. You're just thinking that you're gonna get there. But he was basically sharing that You don't just get somewhere, you grow somewhere. And I think just the sermon just kind of like took me back to, like, it kind of like made me want to go back to the basics, right? And just how God is such an intentional God, and he puts process in our lives for a reason. I honestly believe that there's a reason why God, like, didn't say, okay, if you ask for something, or if I give you a vision regarding something, it's just gonna land on your lap. No, there are steps that you actually need to take in order there are steps that you actually need to take in order to grow into that image that you see. So, that image that you're seeing of yourself in your dreams, in your visions, what God is showing you about yourself, you're not just going to get there miraculously. You have to take actual steps to actually grow into that person that God has called you into. And I think for me, it was just so liberating and kind of like made me honor the process. Like, one thing about us and one thing about our generation, we are a microwave generation. And a microwave generation meaning that we just want quick things. Like, we want quick things that when we pray about something, we just like, God must answer me now. If I have a desire of something, like, it should happen now. We just like, the microwave analogy, that quick stuff, but there's no there's no character building in quick stuff. And what's the point of you getting to certain places in life in such a quick way, whereas when you even get there, you won't even be able to maintain you won't even be able to maintain the things that God has given you. You won't even be able to maintain the blessing that God has given you, simply because there was no process in place. You don't have the spiritual muscle. You don't have the muscle to sustain you. You don't have the experience to sustain you or sustain your blessing, because you didn't honor the process. You didn't take time to actually go through stuff, because the power of going through stuff is that it teaches you character, and it grants you the muscle to be able to maintain the blessing or whatever God has given you at that particular time. So, just hearing that on my side, you guys, it just made me realize that at times we overlook small progress in our life. Yes, I might not be where I want to be and where I believe God has called me to be, but I'm definitely not where I was a month ago. I'm definitely not where I was when the year started. I'm definitely not where I am last year. And that is progress, guys. Small progress is still progress. And I think at times when you just fixated on the big thing, on the purpose, on like the end goal, you forget to like kind of appreciate and enjoy the moment. So I think like I was like a bit in my head and got lost in that. And when I heard that sermon, like, I just got like so much of comfort, and I reminded myself that I have made progress, that I might not be where God wants me to be. But that small progress that I have made, you guys, that is still progress. And I ought to honor God, even for the small progress that I have made, because at the end of the day, in as much as we want to come back to, yes, we are hardworking as human beings, but who gives us the ability to even be able to acquire the stuff that we are able to achieve? Who gives us the strength within our beings to even be able to work hard? Who gives us the breath in our lungs to even see this day? The fact that you are alive today, it's not just because your alarm went off and your alarm woke you up, or a sound woke you up, or your body clock woke you up. No, it is God's sheer grace that actually woke you up. So those small things, just being appreciative of those small things, of the breath in your lungs, the small progresses in life. And I was actually saying this, I think I was on, was it Alice's live or someone's live, I can't remember. But I was saying, like, one of the things that I really struggle with, that is kind of like I grew up with it, and I was not born that way, but I kind of like adapted that. It was kind of like a defense or a coping mechanism for me. So when I grew up, the household that I grew up in at that time, I grew up with quite a number of people in my family. So when I grew up, my one granny system, she was just like, she was not the type of person that kind of acknowledged achievements. Like, she was the type of person that you could be happy, or you were supposed to be happy for a short period of time, and then she'd cut it there, you know? So for instance, if I came back home and I really did well on a test at school, and I came back and I was excited and I'm like, oh, I did so well, I studied so hard and everything like that, she'd just be like, oh, okay, that's good for you. And then a few minutes later, she'd be like, okay, you're making noise for us, you know, that type of thing. So she never ever allowed you as a kid to sit in your achievements and sit in what you've achieved and really be proud of yourself. So that's what she'd do. Like, anytime like I'd have like something that I was really like proud about, she'd just be like, oh, okay, that's nice. Stop making noise for us. Move on with your life. You're not the first one to do well at something, like that type of thing, just basically invalidating you and making you feel like the stuff that you are celebrating, like it's a norm for everyone else, so you shouldn't be celebrating that. So I developed that coping mechanism. I don't know whether I should call it like a defense mechanism or a coping mechanism. I'm not really sure like what to call it. But then I realized that even now at my big age, it's very difficult for me to celebrate achievements in my life. And it's almost as if in my head, because I don't get to celebrate achievements in my life, I kind of get to downplay God's grace and God's blessings in my life and downplay my efforts into something. So in my head, I'm just like, once I achieve something, it's like, oh, okay, we've achieved this. What's next? And there's nothing healthy about that, you guys. So if I achieve something, like, it's very difficult for me to be happy for myself. Like, I'll be happy for myself like for like a very short period of time, and after that my mind is just like, oh, okay, that's enough, let's move on, what's next? So I've never really like known how to like sit in something and be like, oh my gosh, I really did that. I really did that. I really achieved that. I really worked hard. And I deserve to give myself like a pat on the back that, you know what, Lucy, you actually did good. Like, well done. Like, it's very difficult for me to do that, you guys. So I really struggle with that. And I feel like because I struggle to celebrate myself and because I struggle to celebrate any type of like achievements in my life, whether it be small or big, I think at times like I take for granted even like the small progress in my life. I think my brain, in a sense, is like waiting for like this one big thing to happen in my life, and that one big thing will be like something that like maybe would like be worth celebrating. But I have noticed that it's not a good thing for me because I can't always be constantly like chasing like the next thing, you know? Sometimes it's just good to sit in something and just be grateful and enjoy it, feel it, immerse yourself in it before like thinking about like what next to embark on. So I am trying to unlearn that. I am trying to unlearn like just not appreciating myself. But really, guys, like it's so difficult for me. It's so difficult to even say like I worked hard. In my mind, I'm just like, no, you haven't worked hard enough. You need to do better. You need to do more. You need to like, and I think obviously it stems from just like as a child, just feeling like I'm just not enough, just feeling like I don't do enough. And I feel like that comes through even as an adult. I didn't even know that it was something that really existed. I only noticed it like at my big age, like maybe about 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I'm not so sure, but it's like a recent thing that I actually started discovering. So yeah, you guys, so yeah, that's what he was preaching on, that you don't get to the top, you grow to the top. And when I listen to a sermon, right, I always reflected on my life and think to myself, like, how is this applicable to my life? Like, how is this speaking to like my current circumstances or what I'm going through in my life? And I just feel like what he was saying, you guys, and excuse me if I'm closing my eyes for too long, my eyes kind of feel like they kind of feel sore. I think I have not slept enough. Let me just put on this lip gloss. Where is everyone today? Because there's literally just one person who popped in, and other people will keep popping in and out. But it's all right. So yeah, I was reflecting that and reflecting it on my life. And I was actually thinking like what he was saying was so even like in alignment with my YouTube journey, with my YouTube journey. In all honesty, when I started YouTube, I came onto YouTube and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna talk about God. I know people are gonna be interested in listening about like God, and I'm gonna educate people and help people with their spiritual lives. Like I was just like, yes, like I'm gonna be in there by month 4 or month 6. I'm probably going to be monetized. Like that's what I thought. And then when I actually started my YouTube process or YouTube journey, like, oh, excuse me for that. When I actually started my YouTube journey, like, boy, was I surprised. Like, I was in for a surprise of how much work it actually took. And I think in my mind, I really had the mentality before I came into YouTube. I had the mentality that I was just gonna get to the top, I just thought like my videos are gonna be relevant to a certain type of group and I was gonna get to the top. I didn't actually think that I'd have to actually grow to the top. And that's what I'm actually coming to realize, that, you know what, I know someday that I'm gonna get to where I wanna be, but I'm not gonna get there like overnight, and I'm not gonna get there by chance. So I'm gonna have to grow to the top and grow into this vision of the woman that I see myself to be. I'm gonna have to grow into that image. And my husband was actually saying that when you look at the Bible, when you look at the book Acts, when you're looking at the apostles and these disciples of Jesus, they are just like, on fire for the Lord. They are preaching the gospel. They are like at the point where they are willing to be martyred, where they are willing to lose their lives over this one thing that they are convinced by, which is that Jesus died on the cross and he resurrected. So they were so convinced about that they were willing to, like, they were so passionate about, like, God, about the gospel. You're looking at your people like your Pauls. When we read about them, we just like, man, I am not close to like the man and the people that these disciples were. And like it just feels like such a far-fetched thing. You're looking at them and you just like the way they were so on fire for God, the way they just were so vigorous regarding like anything God related. And then you look at yourself and you're just like, I am so far off. But my husband was actually saying that the Peter that we see like preaching the gospel, the Peter that we see where like his shadows are like people are getting healed by his shadows, he's like willing to be persecuted for the gospel's sake. Is that not the same Peter that rejected Jesus? That was the very same Peter, you guys. So he was just basically re-emphasizing on the point that you don't just get to be a great person, you grow into being a great person. So when we're seeing these people, high level, So I see there's two of us in the live stream, guys. Please don't forget to actually like the live stream. I truly appreciate it. So he was saying that when we're seeing these people like truly on fire for the Lord, they didn't just wake up like that, where they were like, you know what, I am willing to preach the gospel. I am on fire for God. Like they didn't wake up like that. They grew into those men. Again, emphasizing on the power of the process. Like if you just honor the process and stick to the process and be faithful to the process, or be faithful to God rather, not really the process, because it's God that we are faithful to. So if you are faithful to God and you stick the course, there is character that is built in you throughout the process, and that character that is built in you is the same thing that's going to sustain you when you get into your promised land. That blessed me so much. And he was also sharing about that when we see these couples on social media, and these couples that just have been married for so long, and we're just like, wow, like these people really love one another, they respect one another, they honor one another. And we're thinking these people just woke up into like good marriages, that they woke up into like good, healthy like relationships. No, they grew into like healthy relationships. They grew to a point where they are in healthy relationships. So there's no such thing as a perfect husband, there's no such thing as a perfect wife, or meeting a perfect wife, or meeting a perfect husband, or meeting a perfect partner, or even being a perfect parent. There's no such thing. We really just get to grow, guys. We get to grow into being a better version of ourselves. We grow into being a better husband. We grow into being a better spouse. We grow into being better parents. Like life is just a process of growth. There's a saying that goes like, what is the saying? The saying, but it goes something like anything that has life in it, or anything that is healthy or has life in it, consists of growth. So anything that does not have growth in it, it does not have life in it. So if we then say that we have life in our lives and that our lives are living, there ought to be growth in everything that we do. So taking it back to my YouTube journey, it just made me really reflect about, or on just, it made me reflect on honoring the process of becoming better at what I do, at becoming better at being a conversationalist, at becoming better at doing makeup, at becoming better at being a creator altogether. So that's just the process of life, guys. The process of life is growth, progress, and if we are looking at quick stuff and we just like want quick microwave stuff, we are really robbing ourselves of what's supposed to actually benefit us. And I know at times like it's just not easy, like going through and being faithful and honoring the process is not easy at many times. It really isn't easy, but it's for our benefit. It really is for our benefit. And it just made me think about like another thing that he actually mentioned that really like made me think a lot about like just like how much we are a microwave generation, is when Jesus was led into the mountain to be tempted by Satan. And when he was led into the mountain, there was a time where he was on the mountain, and then he was led into the wilderness rather. But when he was in the wilderness or on the mountain, one of the two. But basically, I want to talk about the temptation where Satan came and then tells him to, that to bow down to him, and if he bows down to him, then he'll give him like the world. And then he tells him to cast down himself, that truly if he's the son of God, then God will command his angels to basically uplift Jesus so that he doesn't fall to the ground, and etc. And what Satan was actually doing right there is that he was offering Jesus like quick stuff, like the very same type of things that we want, like quick microwave stuff, like grow on YouTube within a day, like, go viral type of thing. Like, that's the same thing that Jesus has offered. But Jesus actually, that was actually a temptation for him, and he actually rejects that. So I think, especially if you are a Christian and you're listening to this, if our master himself, Jesus says that the servant is not greater than the master. And if you study that verse in context, what he was actually saying is that if the master went through persecutions, trials, and tribulations, the servant is not greater than the master in a sense that he's not gonna go through trials and tribulations. So, because the master went through trials and tribulations, the servant is bound to go through trials and tribulations as well. So if Jesus himself was tempted and offered like quick microwave type of stuff, and he rejected it and he honored the process. He, like, I think sometimes we forget that the fact that Jesus is the savior and he forgave our sins, and the fact that he's seated on the throne, it is not just by virtue of him being the Son of God. He qualified to be on that seat. And that's why we sing, "Worthy is the Lamb," because he is worthy. He went through the testing, the trials, the same testings and the trials and the tribulations that Israel went through. He went through that, and except with him, he conquered that. So he is seated on the throne, not just by virtue of being a child of God, or not by virtue of just being the son of God, but because he qualified, he grew. We were reading a scripture this morning at church where it says that Jesus grew in favor before men and before God. So though he was the son of God, he still grew in favor, you guys. And I think that was just mind blowing for me, because I'm just like, Jesus had to grow in favor. Like, I mean, I just, like, at times we just think that Jesus just came and then he was just like loved by everyone, and he just, he just came and chilled up until a time where he had to go to Calvary and that was enough. No. He worked, he grew in stature, he grew in favor between God and man, meaning that there was stuff that he was actually doing that granted the favor before man and granted the favor before other people. So we too, guys, need to grow. We need to grow to the top. We cannot just get to the top and expect to like just get to the top through like viral videos and microwave type of things. That's there. It's just gonna kill us. It's gonna kill us because there's no benefit in getting to the top without having the skill, without having the experience that is gonna sustain you when you get to the top. Yeah. But that was Sunday's sermon, today's sermon, you guys, and it blessed me so much, and I think like I've been liberated so much, and I really do hope, if you are watching this replay, I really do hope that people, maybe I'm gonna title it Sunday sermon or something like that, because I really want, I think it will make much more sense to people who believe in a faith or believe in God. I think just listening to this just liberated me so much that sometimes don't get angry at the process. Don't get angry at the stuff that you get to go through. Yes, it's frustrating because when you're looking at other people's lives, it looks like, yeah, but they get things so easily. You don't know that. You don't know that, and you don't know what people have to actually go through to be where they are at. So this whole thing of being envious of people's followers, how many followers they have, the views, what they have in life, like, just honor your process, be faithful to your process, and in due time, God will uplift you as long as you are being obedient to him. In due time, for as long as you commit faithfully to the process and what God has called you to do, you will gain that spiritual muscle. You will gain the muscle that by the time you get those numbers that you want, you are able to sustain the blessing that God has placed in your hands. Yeah. But I think, guys, I'm gonna end off this video right here. Yeah. if you are watching, or when you do watch the replay, please do make sure, guys, the ones who are in the stream right now, please do make sure that you like the live stream. I'm gonna end off the live stream right now. I think I'll be going like I probably will be going live during the week, and we'll see how it goes. In terms of the makeup tutorial that I really want to do, I really will update people, and yeah, you guys will hear from me. But thank you for the ones who got to tune in today. If you are watching the replay, thank you so much for watching up until this point. Please don't forget to like the video. And yeah, guys, I guess I'm gonna see you on my next live or my next video, but it's bye for now. Bye.